always on Fridays, 11 to 1 is a work session. And so this is a new thing we're doing today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of cover, hey, how you doing? Oh, you're fine. If you want, you sit right there, you get front row. So, so I always share the screen, and we have some people that have logged in, and I always like to kind of just start at the beginning. So I always think it's important to know what's going on in the world. So every morning I open up the Drudge Report. It's linked to every newspaper in the world. I don't read them all, but it just kind of highlights what's important. And that way, if I meet somebody throughout the day, I might know about the new law that was passed or sports. Sometimes they'll have like big sports, news. But at the bottom, it's linked to every newspaper. And so, it just gives you a worldview, because Dallas-Fort Worth is becoming very much a melting pot of it, it hasn't already. All right, so that's something I always do. Whenever the phone rings, and I pick up my phone all the time, it doesn't matter if somebody I'm recruiting, if it's a buyer, seller, tenant, or landlord, I always send them my electronic business card. And this is off of Haystack. Now we have a marketing person that does intro packet for you guys that I cover part of it. And she gives you like 250 business cards, an electronic business card, and a name tag. And we have our own site dedicated to it that I send as part of my onboarding. But I'm a big fan of this because I have it on my phone. It's an app. And when somebody gets it and they open it, it's going to be tied to all my social media. They can see all the links. And if in order for me to send this business card, I would have had to have gotten their cell phone number. Whereas if I give you this business card, it's going to go crumble like this for bubble gum when I can't find the wrapper to put the bubble gum in and just throw it on the ground. So I don't even know who this is. And they'll go in the trash when we're done here because they were already here. But a business card that's electronic, if you get their cell phone, then you can start a relationship with them.
So Jenny did this, or
no? This is just going to Haystack. It's an app. Well, and so what you can do is you can download, and that's just our logo, but you can download all our logos are on Back Agent, which is an intra-office website. And I have about 50 of them. But one thing that I do a little different is that you're able to market you how you want. I had an agent yesterday that wanted me to approve a business card. And I was like, it just needs to have DHS Realty, half the size of the biggest contact. And we have logos. Obviously, they're all going to be given out to y'all. But I don't pull the reins back on that. I think it's also important to have a YouTube page. So this is a page that I've done. And I think I started my first video maybe 5 years ago. Just kind of on a whim. And I'm a little different. I'll be driving down the car in my car, and I just get some thought, and I'm never going to be like behind a office desk and have a nice little back spot. So I have one in here that says, why pick Doug as your agent? When I meet somebody on the phone, I text them my business card. I text them my YouTube video that says, why pick Doug as your agent? It doesn't matter how much experience you have. I mean, you can paint a story. I mean, my son got out of high school a year ago, and he got in some trouble in high school and went to Arkansas to a camp to become a man, which he did, but he came back with a black lab. And, but I wrote a little, like, just one night, I was like, we need to write you a bio. And he was like, well, I don't know what to say. And I said, all right, let me just write something. So I did it in like 2 minutes, and it's basically in my home buyer packet I give out. And it just says something like, hey, my name is Mitchell Gardner. I graduated high school in 2020 from Lebanon Trails in Frisco. I got into Texas Tech the next, that semester, decided college wasn't for me, went to Arkansas, did construction work, decided I wanted to get in the retail side with my stepdad of 13 years. So I came back, got my life, booyah. I mean, 2 paragraphs were done. It's all you need, but it's just, you're trying to establish a rapport. My hobbies are, I was a pitcher in high school. I liked my dog, and I like to 4-wheel, whatever. So, all right. So now we get into a conversation that would happen if a buyer calls me, and I talk about this in class, and there's food over there. I talk about this in class, but you got to answer your phone. My ex-wife used to never answer a phone. That's one of the reasons why we're divorced, because it would drive me nuts. I'd be calling her, and I was like, it would ring on that, back then it had where the phone would ding on the landline. And I, like 40 minutes, I'd be pulling the garage. I'm like, she's on the phone to like Mr. Green or something, and I'm like, what if I was dying? And she was like, I just don't answer phones. Well, she'd never be good as a real estate agent. So we got to answer the phone. So it would just go something like this. Hey, this is Doug with DHS Realty. Hey, my name's Ramona. I was interested in, this is Amir. I was interested in 123 Easy Street. And I would say, what's up, brother? Come on in. I would immediately say, when do you want to look at it? And I'm not even on my phone yet looking in the MLS. And there's pizza over there, brother. I wouldn't even look in the MLS to see if it's available. I would just say, when do you want to look at it? And Ramona would say, oh, how about tonight? Absolutely, 6 or 7? 6. Okay. Is this your cell phone? Do you text? And what's your email? Have you ever talked to a lender before? You know, I mean, how are you financing this? And then you're just establishing a little rapport. I mean, if she wants to get off the phone so quickly with you, then you need to realize that's not normal. That's not a buyer. So don't get so enthralled with the fact that somebody just called you and wants to talk to you. I mean, it's going to be a relationship forming here. I might put her on speakerphone and send her 3 lenders while I'm talking to her, because that's the way I do business. And she's like, oh, I'll say, I just sent you 3 lenders. Why don't you give one of them a call? It's free. And that way, if you like the house tonight, then at least we'll know the financing, how to write the offer. And are you in a month-to-month or are you long-term lease? Oh, I'm in a 5-year lease. Oh, why the hell are you talking to me right now? I mean, it's like, so I mean, obviously, like, you also have to cut bait. You know, we don't fish for free. So, and so if she said, no, month to month, I said, all right, well, I tell you what, I'll see you tonight at 6. Hey, one more thing before I get you off the phone. Give me your realtor's name so I can sign them in case you like the house tonight. I want to make sure that I don't take a commission from your friend who's your realtor. And she goes, oh, my realtor's name's Deborah. And I'm like, well, where's Deborah? Oh, she's in Cabo. Well, shit, I'd like to be in Cabo, but I won't show you because you're not going to ever use me as your agent. So that's why you ask it a little weird. And that's what I always say when I get off the phone. I might be on the phone with you for 30 minutes. At the very end, I go, hey, one more thing before I get you off the phone. Give me a realtor so I can sign them in, because I don't want to take a commission from them if you like the house tonight. And then she goes, I don't have a realtor. And then I go, see you tonight. Okay. Then I log into the MLS, and I have this website on my phone. And again, it's matrix.netris.net. Most of you know that when you join us, I go in and clean up your MLS. Everybody's screen should look like this when I'm done with it. And then you can change it if you want. But the reason I do it like this is because I've had a lot of agents that call me, and when I say, okay, log into MLS, and you're looking at a square that says search right in front of you. And the other day, somebody had moved it over here. So when I said, there's a search square right in the middle, you got to be able to see it. It's right to the right of recent home visitors. And they're like, I don't see it. And I was like, that's impossible. I just cleaned your MLS up. So I do it like this. It just makes it super simple. On the left, I also set up your phone in here with your provider, and I go to My Matrix and Summary as soon as I log into your MLS. Once I go to Summary, I go to Settings. Once I go to Settings, I go to Recent Portal Visitors, and that's when I would text you and say, what is your phone provider? You give it to me, I plug in your phone, you get a 4-digit code sent to you, you send it to me, I log it in here, and now anytime someone favorites a home, visits a portal, or visits a portal for the first time, you'll get a text message. I set that up like that. I don't do that, but I set yours up. I just want to get text when somebody favorites a home, okay? Because I'm in the MLS so often that I'm going to know when they're in there. And the reason that you're going to know that somebody looked at a search is because when you open the MLS, their name will be on the left side here, okay? It'll say right there, Ramona, and you'll go, oh, that's Ramona. If there's a heart, you'll see that they favorited a home. And all you do is click on the heart, and it'll show you 3 properties. And if you wanted to show those and you didn't know where the hell they were, all you do is check that box above the first one. You can hit directions, and it'll tell you the order to go where you don't look like an idiot going back and forth from the same fire station like 20 times. And the buyer's like, why have we passed this fire station 20 times? Yeah,
it was horrible because they just.
Oh no, trust me, I've done it. That's why I'm showing you.
It's like you're out there and they're like, "Can you show me this house too?" And she's sitting over there on the laptop, and I'm just like, going
So you can always check them all, or if you don't check them all, you can check whichever ones you want, and that dashboard or that direction tab will always highlight. This is what I love the most out of every feature in the MLS. The MLS keeps all homes back to 2003. So anytime somebody calls you to either list their home or to look at a home, the easiest thing to do is to go in here and see if you see it. So 2 days ago, this lady called me, and I went on a listing yesterday, and it was at 2550 Belmead. Okay. And I said, when did I work with you? And she found me on LinkedIn after, helping her in 2009. And that's why we're on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. So I said, what's your address? And she goes, 2550 Belmead. So when I got off the phone with her after I made the appointment, all I did was go here and type 2550. And let's just say that I don't know how to spell, but I know that buh is for Belmead. So there's at least a B there. All I have to do is put a B and then hit search. It's going to go back to 2003 and pull up every home that ever started with 2550 and a B. So you can see that right there, the third one down is Belmead. So it just makes it easy because all I'm going to do is click on that MLS number and I'm going to print it. So that's the house. And if you scroll to the bottom, you can see that I helped them when I was with Remax in 2009. So I printed it. That's the first thing you do on a listing. And this is going to be a listing deal first, and then we'll go into a buyer. So that's what I did yesterday morning. I printed this. While I was here, right above the picture of the home, I clicked on tax and it pulls up the tax roll. Made sure that the person I was talking to says it's the owner, which was Sandra. I go over here and I print it. What I do is I look at the subdivision, and if I can remember it, then I don't copy and paste it. So Copperwood. So far I printed the listing and the tax roll. Now I'm going to go to search and I'm going to hit residential quick. This is a search for a buyer, and I set up your MLS like this. When you get your MLS set up for the first time before I look at it, MLS defaults these being marked. You don't want to send those. They're not available. So what I do is I go in and uncheck mark these in every search criteria, search section. So I go to quick detail, multifamily quick detail, lots and acreage, commercial, residential lots, and at lease, and I change it just to active. Then I go over here and I hit the rotary, and that saves this as a search criteria. So every time I open it up, it's going to have only actives marked. Well, this is a CMA, so I do want to send solds. So I just usually, if you call me on the phone, I'll tell you to get to this screen, and I'll say, skip coming soon, mark the next 3, skip the next 2, and mark the next 2. And change that 0 to 90 to 0 to 180. Then if you remember the subdivision, then type it in. Was it Copperwood, right? Now, notice I don't spell all of it out, but if I put an asterisk, that wild cards that name like that. So the problem is that might be a real common subdivision name. So now I got to pick a city. So I'm only pulling homes in that city subdivision or that subdivision city. So I'm going to go to Carrollton. And once I get to Carro, you can see that Carrollton highlighted. I'm good. But if I wanted Carrollton and Plano, I need to type it out and put a comma. Okay, but I don't need, now that's good, or right when I got to that, it still picked it. Okay, so I'm good. You can see there's 7 homes. Now, when I pulled the MLS printout, I noticed the master was on the 2nd floor. So I have master marked on the 1st floor underneath bedrooms. So I'm going to go ahead and unmark that. And I have 7 homes. So all I'm going to do is hit results. And instead of, and I'm going to check the box above the 1 and click quick CMA. When I click quick CMA, it's going to do a CMA that's good enough. I've used it for 30 years. I've not lost many listings when I go on them because this is good enough. People don't want you to hook your computer up to their TV and have breakfast at their house. You know, I mean, they want to get on with their day. And these people are getting divorced. I didn't want to stay in there for a cat fight. So it was very awkward. So this is what I showed them. And this is what happened in the real world. I set the appointment with her. She texted me later that night. So it was 2 nights ago because I went yesterday. And she goes, hey, my husband, she goes, we're getting separated. That's what she told me on the phone. She goes, we're getting separated. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I've been divorced. And so I showed empathy. And so I set the appointment. She texted me later that night. She goes, well, my husband's friend will list the house for 1.5, but I don't want to use him. And I said, I'll do it for 1. And I put it to bed. I said, I'll do it for 1. And again, you can do that with me because all you pay is $225 for a closing. So you'll never have to call me and tell me, can you okay this commission split? Because there is no split with us. So, so when I went out there, he went on a walk knowing when I was going to be there, like just to be an a-hole. And so I'm there with this agent, Farwa. She's shadowing me. I go through the whole thing with her. She's in love with everything. But the husband never shows up. And so I'm like, you know, well, when's his name's Clay? I go, well, when's Clay going to show up? And she's like, I don't know. I go, well, is this amicable? Like, do I have, like, I have a handgun on me, you know, I'm like, cause I have a concealed handgun license. I'm like, and I always do that on a divorce, cause you never know. And I was like, is he like hostile? And she's like, oh no, he's fine. She goes, I just told him last night. I was like, you told him what last night? And she goes, I just told him last night I was divorcing him. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. I thought this was like something that had kind of sunk in. I mean, her eyes were glossy, like she was about to cry. And so anyway, so he came in and I had this and turned it around, obviously to read it upside down. Those last two are the ones that I showed him, but they don't have a pool, and his did. And his house this house on side looks like something from HGTV. It's built in 84. On the inside, it was friggin' immaculate. I mean, like crazy. And I said to him, I was like, here's the deal, straight up, a blind squirrel could sell this house. And I was like, what you're going to pay me for is my negotiating skills. And I said, but your friend can do it. Friggin' blind squirrel could sell this house. Like it's going to be, it's on a third of an acre in Carrollton, backyard, has shade. The garage jets out on the west side, so it creates a shade on the east side. They have a enclosed patio. I mean, it's really nice. So anyways, I told them, I said, look, 385. I don't know if you can see, it was lit. That last one was listed at 385. It sold for 440, 2 days on the market. And I said, you could obviously go at 440. I said, but my belief is that you won't get it bid up. I said, but if you go like 410, I was like, I would imagine that we'll beat that 440. And he goes, well, which one do you think? And I was like, well, it's your call. It's America. I go 410. And he's like, well, that's what my friend said. And I was like, well, then let's do it. And I turned the paperwork and just said, just initial there. And that's it. It was over. And that's kind of how you got to do it. And I've said it in class. If you've been my student, I've said it in this company that when you're on a listing and they agree with you at some point and you see this head shake or you see one look at the other, go, that's when you go, just find me a spare key. I'm gonna go grab my sign. And you make them stop. You go into the door to go get your sign, your key box, jack that key box on the door, put the sign in the yard and leave. And in 30 minutes, you should have it in the MLS. Okay. And that's basically what happened. Last night, she sent me the disclosure list of upgrades. They don't have a survey because they put the pool in after they bought it. So the survey's not good. So that's it. All right. So now when I went on that listing, I had to print some documents. Okay. And everybody gets into zip forms differently. This is how I get into zip forms. And when I go into zip forms, I go to texasrealestate.com. You log in, it'll say your name right here. Hi, Ramona. Hi, Tabitha. Hi, Fred. You click on zip forms and the screen goes blue. As I tell this, I'm going to be telling you what screen happens next because that's how I know it. And when you call me, it doesn't matter where I'm at. I'll be able to walk you through where you need to be. And if you tell me you don't see it, it's because you don't see it, but it's there because I know it. And I'll always say this until I'm blue in the face or at my funeral. You can, Dave will attest to this fact that all you do is hit one button when you go into zip forms. How you doing? Come on in.
Good. How are you?
What's your name?
Go down. Hotel.
Oh, okay. I'm Doug. Yeah, I've never met you, right?
Yeah.
Class?
In the class, yeah.
Right, but I have a mask on probably. I don't recognize anybody.
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
Wherever you want to sit. Move over here so you can see this. And you're visiting, right?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Okay, cool. And I'll be here. I'll answer any questions y'all have later. All right. So once this screen goes into zip forms, there's only one button you ever hit, and it's the new button. Okay. When you hit the new button, 5 boxes come up, and you only are concerned about the first 3. You good, Alex?
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations. She just passed her test and did a special post on Instagram because that's what you're on. So it's very impressive. So again, this is a seller, so it's not rocket science. It's going to be a listing. You only care about these 3. Don't worry about these last 2. So it's a seller, buyer, or tenant landlord. So it's a listing. You're going to name it. Always select residential. It really doesn't matter what it is. It could be a commercial. I don't care. Just make it easy and just always select residential. And then right there, it says select template. And there's going to be only 4 choices for you guys: a buyer template, a seller template, a tenant template, or a landlord template. Well, Sandra's a seller, so I'm going to look for listing template. Once I pick that, all I do is go down here and hit save. And the next screen, you'll be looking at a white summary square. It's right there. You're going to go 2 tabs over to documents. Lola's in the house. These are going to be your forms that are going to be pre-filled. Okay. So when you open up the IBS, it's good to open, but you don't have to because it's going to be pre-filled. You hit the back button. You're going to print that because well, you'll do whatever you want, but here's the deal. I like to print the documents with a seller to close them at the property. You should never get a listing and put a sign in the yard without getting a listing agreement. That's like 101. Now, if Sean Riken, he sends the listing agreement to the seller while he's at the home, they sign it there. It comes right back to him on his iPad. He signs it and then he emails it to him while he's there. That's fine. But what he doesn't do is put a sign in the yard and do that later. So I'm just, we're a little bit of a difference in age. He's in his 30s and I'm 52. But at the end of the day, I think it's pretty cool to be able to print it. They see it, they touch it, they feel it, and then you can go, boom, let's just initial right there. You can make sure they didn't miss anything, and then you take it with you. So really, there's only 3 things you need on a listing. IBS, seller disclosure. All you do is open it, print it, and this is all going to be in your forms, and then the listing agreement. So just to give you an idea on the listing agreement, right here, what I did, I like to do all caps, and I just go, Sandra, what was her last name? I forget. Dennis. That's all I do there. I don't put her address because right here's the address. So I'm looking at the tax roll and it might say lot 5, block H, blah, 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 subdivision, Carrollton. A county was Denton, and then the address 123, easy, right? Other than that, you really don't fill out much. This house didn't have an HOA. I already template that it does, so I unmarked it. There is no HOA. I leave the price blank. I fill that in with a pen when I go on a listing, because if I put 400, he would have been mad. So I leave it blank, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, what were you thinking? Well, what were you thinking? I don't know, 410. He's like, oh, that's perfect. Oh, okay, let me just put 410 there. And then I do always click on a begin date, and it's usually the date I'm going to meet them. And then I go about 4 months out. I don't have a rhyme or reason, but I always pick the same day. So it kind of looks like it goes together. Now I template your listing. I put 6% here. I do this in my own. I put that the transaction fee is going to be included in the commission. So I'm going to get 6% plus 25. That way you're really getting 100% of your commission. It's your call. I sometimes delete that. And I did for these people because I was going to, I'll tell you what I did on this one. I deleted the 6 and made it 4 because they bought a house with me in 2009, and I'm going to try to get the wife to buy from me, but he is going to use his friend because he had a friend realtor. And I told him that when I listed it yesterday. I go, I'm doing 4, like based on a trust with Sandra that she might use me in a year, 2 years. I was like, I know you're going to your friend. And I was like, that's why your friend said 4.5. I said, your friend said 4.5 because he's going to help you buy on the next house, and he's going to get 3% from the seller. I said, so I'm losing money here, but I'm going to do it based on the fact that I know Sandra will work with me. And I go, and if your friend ever drops the ball, know that I'll take the torch. And he kind of laughed.
How do you explain the transaction?
I deleted it.
No, I'm just saying, how do you?
If I left it in there, if I left it in there, I would just say my broker charges a transaction fee. Yeah, I wouldn't go real.
You think
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so that's it. Other than that, the rest of this is completely filled out. Okay, got intermediary already authorized. You'll see intermediary right here. Everything is pre-first, and then you're going to print it. So you're done. You so far. We print the agent full report, the tax roll, CMA, then the IBS, the listing agreement, and the seller's disclosure. The one thing that we never want to go on a listing without is a net sheet. And I just got to look at my password. So this is chicagoagent.com. It's an app that does a net sheet. It's so easy. It's sick. It's sad that most agents don't do a net sheet when they go on a listing. And everything that I just went over with you, you could forget all of it
Here, Papa.
Hold on a second. You could forget everything and do this net sheet and you'll look like friggin' MIT graduate. So at the end of the day, when you log into this on the first time, it's going to be highlighted buyer. You're going to have to physically go click seller. Okay. And this is on the app store and everything. It's called Chicago Agent 1, just like it says right there. When it opens up on a net sheet, all you do is go over here and you put in the price that you think you're going to list the home at. So I did one at 410. I did one at 390, 400, and 410. So the first one I would do is 390. Okay. You go down here and that's your commission. You hit the rotary and you put what you're going to do as the commission. So I already knew I was going to do 1%. So 3 goes to the buyer's agent and I'm doing it for 1. It defaults 3. Okay. It defaults 3. So I had to physically go in and change it to 1. When I change it to 1, I hit done and it asks if I want it for all estimates or just this one. And I just go, just this one. Then I scroll down and as crazy as this sounds, that's all you have to do because it puts a tax rate in there that's too high. So you're going to look really good when the tax proration. All you do is hit compute. That's it. It already pre-fills 30 days out and it basically does a net sheet. And you're going to, if you go up, you'll see that's what they walk away with at 390. And all you do is you hit share. And once you hit share, it's going to give you 6 or 7 templates that you can pick from. I like this one because it's pretty straightforward. So I printed it. And this is the one that he did not want. So I'm glad that I did 3 others. And here's how hard it was to do the 3 others. All I did was hit the back button. All I did was go right here. Change that to 400. I hit tab a couple times. I hit compute and it does a new net sheet. That should be about 373 now when it comes out. Because it's 10,000 more. All right. I go to share print. It's going to pull up a template and I'm going to print it. It's that easy. Now I went over this with him and I'm just going to go over it real quick because this is very important to understand how to dumb this down for a seller. You got to be able to read it upside down, number one, because the seller's going to be sitting across from you. What I told him, and I was really just talking to him because she completely is on board with me. I was like, I had to pick a hypothetical close date. This program just did 30 days out because I did it yesterday or the day before. I did it on the 1st. So it automatically picked 30 days out. At 400, your total closing costs, his name was Clay. I said, Clay, your total closing costs are $19,466. I have them itemized here. I'm about to go over with you. I don't care about what your balance is because you probably don't even know what it is. And I said, and she goes, oh, I think I owe. And I said, well, you think you owe that now? I said, but this is 30 days out. It doesn't even factor in your next payment for next month. And I said, so once I leave, go online to your bank, put a closing date as 10/1 and see what's in your escrow account and see what your balance is. And that balance subtract from 372, 366 and 44 cents. And that's what you walk away with at closing. And I said, do you pay your taxes monthly or every November? And she goes, we pay them monthly. And I said, well, the next one says prorated taxes. This program basically took your yearly tax and debited you January 1st to 10/1. And I go, you will be debited that the day of closing and you'll get that credit back about 8 weeks later, but it's not a wash. So I'm not showing it as 0. And he goes, oh, so that'll be taken out of my proceeds? And I go, yes. And I said, that's your true net right there, 372. Then I started going over these. And basically what I said is I said this and this are negotiable. The owner's title policy and the home warranty, right now in the last 8 months, I haven't seen a seller pay for either. And I said, but when I got my license, it was a default that the seller did. So I want to make it a worst case for you. I said, any offer I get, I'll do a new net sheet for every offer. So you'll never not know what you're walking away with. I said, but those could be negotiable. I said, the other ones from escrow to recording fee, that's just title charges everybody pays. And I go, and then there's the commission. And so this is what I told him. I said, that's 3% to the other agent. And that's 1% to me. 1% of 400 is 4,000. And I said, I'll even do one better. I said, if I sell the house myself, I'll cut my commission 1 more and do it for 3. And what he didn't understand is that that would be me making 2% more than I would with 2 agents. but he looked at it like, oh, I really appreciate that. I was like, oh, don't worry about it. That's why I'm going to do open houses out the ass so that I can try to get the buyer, because I'm doing it for pro bono right now. So, and then when I went, so I showed him that when I went over the listing, I told him I have either party can terminate with 1 day notice on my listing. And I told him, I said, look, I've been through a divorce. I said this in front of both of them. I say, I don't get involved in your stuff. And I said, so I'll be very respectful to you. I said, but the day that somebody's disrespectful to me, I'll say, in a blink of an eye, I'll come get my key box and my sign. And I was like, so either party can terminate with 1 day notice is for either one of us or all three of us. And I said, because I've been through it. And I said, I know it's real fresh, whatever's going to go on. And so I just think that's good to be. And then I told him about safety, that I'm going to put electronic key box on the front door. Don't let anybody in the house without going through that electronic key box. Don't let anybody knock on the door and see their silhouette and think they're a realtor and let them in. Don't let anybody BS you into letting them in the house to look at it because their flight's about to take off and their realtors at their kid's soccer game because they could be crooks. I said, hide your jewelry, your handguns, and I just had an open house last month where a guy got a lot of things stolen out of his closet after I told him that. So anyway, so that's pretty much on the listing side. Okay. It'll be a little quicker as we do this next one. And at noon, I'll take a kind of a break and see if y'all have specific things, but I thought we'd do at least a seller and a buyer right off the bat. So really not much changes when the phone call, this was a listing, not much changes when a buyer calls you, you want to answer the phone and you want to establish a little bit of a conversation with them. Nobody should be trying to get off the phone with you real quick. That's not a buyer. And you're going to get their cell phone, set up an appointment. If they say a particular address, and then you're going to send them your business card. You're going to send them a video. And I do video messages all the time. And I mean, Tabitha just gave me back a video message this morning. I've had agents like not even realizing there's a video message back to me. One guy had his shirt off. He was working out. He's like, damn it, I didn't realize I'm doing a video message. I've never done one. Yeah, Corey Mosley. Yeah. And I mean, it was hilarious. I mean, he's sweating and everything. His shirt's off. I mean, I don't know, maybe more things were off, but luckily it didn't go too far down. Okay, so at the end of the day, let's just take this house right here, 2502 Willowdale. Let's say that 2502 Willowdale, that Ramona calls me on it. So I'm going to be on the phone, tell her I'm going to make that I'll meet her tonight. Right before I get off the phone, I'll say, hey, give me your realtor's name so I can sign them in case I don't want to take a commission from your realtor. Oh, I don't have one. The first thing I do is I'm going to send her all that, but then I'm going to go in the MLS. I don't even tell her that home's active or not active. I just say I'm going to meet her. I'm going to meet her no matter what tonight. I don't care if the home's available or not. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go right over here and type 2502. And again, let's just say I can't spell, but I know what is a W. So I hit a W and then you hit search. It's going to pull up 2502 Willowdale. And when it pulls up 2502 Willowdale, there it is. It's active, which doesn't mean it's available. And if you ever click on the MLS number, that's called the agent full report. And that's the most data you can get. So I always click on that and it'll look like this when it opens. And I always print that for me because that's got the agent's information on it. I'm going to text the agent at the very bottom. Hey, Michelle, Doug Smith with DHS Realty. I'd like to show 2502 Willowdale. Is it still available? It is. I already know it's with CSS down here at the bottom, so I don't need to ask her how to make an appointment. I like to look at the days on market, 13. I like to read this section here to see if there's anything weird. Okay. And then I do notice the commission is 2.5, but that doesn't matter to me. And then I'm going to go above, right below the house. These little icons are very important. This clock, that's the history of this home since 2003. So if I click on it, it's going to pull up every single time that home's ever been listed. And if you see different MLS numbers, that means it's been listed different times. So I've sometimes opened it and seen that every 30 days, there's a $5,000 price drop. I know you have too. And sometimes you can kind of see a pattern, but you always want to do that. It makes you look smart because trust me, a buyer knows how many days a home's been on the market. And when you go, oh, it's just been on the market 13 days, but really it was 313 because you never hit the history, you're going to look like an idiot when the buyer knows more than you do. Right underneath the clock, if you click on that, it goes right into a scheduling appointment service. So it's called showing time. And it's going to pull up the house and we're going to make an appointment for it right now, even though I'm not going to show it, just to show you how easy it is. Schedule a showing, you click on it. It's going to open up a calendar. Or not. That's a friggin'. Where was it? Right there. So it's going to open up this calendar, and then let's say we wanted to show it tonight. You were going to meet me at 6. You just click on that. It says, how long do you want to show it? Well, it says 6 to 8. I love 2-hour windows. And the reason I like them is because I don't have to worry about being there 6 to 6:15. I hit request appointment and just got confirmed. You're going to see on my phone in about 2 seconds at the very top, it's going to come across and say there's the showing instructions for it. Oh, yeah.
Usually the longest available is like 30 minutes.
Right. But I mean, you can see that I just made an appointment for it.
I've seen a lot of picking home this morning that it's
Yeah. Yeah, it's not real common. I can't believe they did that one. But now let's say that Ramona calls me and says she can't meet tonight. So now I need to go in and cancel it. Usually it goes right back just because of the Wi-Fi. So let me go back to it.
So wait, Doug, what are you saying? The 2-hour window means you can
Be there anytime during those 2 hours. Yeah, it's crazy.
So it doesn't matter if other agents are there.
It's not even reserved.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So do you put from 6 to 8 or?
Well, it was defaulted, so I did it because I like 6 to 8. I'm going to cancel it because I'm not.
Right.
But yeah, I always try to get the most just because I never know.
Oh, okay.
I never know if somebody's going to be late or, you know,
And they are a little bit-
Or they get there and go, no.
right. Okay. So here I am going to meet her at this property. I've already been confirmed. Now I'm going to give her a video message. Just go, hey, Ramona, it's Doug. I'll see you tonight at 6. Hey, I'm going to send you 3 lenders. Do me a favor. Give one of them a call. It's free to get,
I took a picture of me.
and
$20 with the lady that we.
Oh,
she knows that. Yeah.
All
All right, let's get back to the training. All right, we'll get a second. All right, so
Forget to cancel it.
if I want to cancel it, I'll show you.
Forget, like if, you're busy.
Oh, okay. So here, let me show you. So, yeah.
Oh, it'll keep reminding you.
Yeah, it'll keep reminding you. So this is the app, and then I use this all the time. So there it is.
Okay.
Okay. So now I'm going to go in and cancel it. All you do is hit cancel. You select a reason. It doesn't even matter.
Okay.
And then you hit cancel. I just got to cancel. So, okay. So now what I'm going to do is because I'm meeting her, I want to make a good impression. I'm going to go ahead and make appointments for everything else that's in this subdivision. And I'm going to go ahead and make appointments for tonight at 6. So we know it's Copperwood. And I already know that when we did the CMA, this is the only active home. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and do a residential quick search. I know that home is 430, so I'm going to go like 400 to 450. I'm going to do Carrollton, 4-bedroom plus, master down, and I'm just going to do 1980 and a plus sign. And I'm going to do Denton County because, or Dallas County because it's south of, in Carrollton, south of the tollway is Dallas County, and north of the tollway is Denton. Just so you'll know, it's kind of a cool deal. So I'm going to do Dallas County, Carrollton, 400, 450, and then what I say, 4-bedroom. There's only 2, so that's perfect. So I'll hit results. One of them will be Willow, and I'll go ahead and make an appointment for 416 North Trail. By making an appointment on that, all I do is click on it. Most homes are with CSS. I go below that clock and you can see it's there. Click on it again. Takes me.
CSS and showing time is the same thing.
Yeah.
I just say showing time, yeah, or CSS. So then I hit schedule an appointment. And you get the same calendar. You'll boom, 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 pick it. I'm not going to do it again. All right. Now, real quick.
How do you block on there? Like when you're like, I've got like.
You'll call
Joanne's
CSS on the phone,
house.
817.
Okay.
Yeah, just tell them that way.
I just wanted-
Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay, now, right next to the clock, you see those 3 sheets of paper? That's going to be the seller's disclosure, most likely. And sometimes next to the clock is a blank. But if there's 3 sheets of paper, that means it's probably the survey, the seller's disclosure, maybe some offer instructions. I always click it because I want to just see. And of course, I'm going to try to make a first impression with her tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to print the customer full report on this property. I'm going to print the survey, the disclosure, and then I'm obviously going to look at this foundation stuff. What I do sometimes do is I go, huh?
I guess they have foundation.
Yeah. What I do sometimes is I just go over here to these three dots and I just email all these to her. And then I just text her, say, hey, I've emailed you a bunch of stuff on this property. I'll see you tonight at 6. Boom. Okay. Now I'm going to get there a little early, 5:30. I'm going to make sure that the key box is the one they told me before she pulls up. If I'm a new agent, I'm going to call me and find out how to open it if we don't know how to do that. And I'll walk you through it. I've had that happen 3 times in the last week, just on how to open a key box. And then I go sit back in my car and wait for the person to show up. When I get out, I do usually have a mask on to see if that's okay with them. And then I'll take the mask off if they don't want a mask. And I'll say, you know, fist bump, elbow, or handshake. And then I'll just say, hey, it's nice to meet you, Leno. It's Leno, like Leno. Hey, yeah, Jay Leno. Yeah, it's nice to meet you, Leno. Let's take a look at this. And as we're walking up, I'm gonna say, you know, you from around here, and you know, if you lived here for a summer, because we have a lot of heat, and this yard backs up to the west. You know, the next one doesn't. I've made a point for another home that has some shade in the backyard. He'll say, I've never heard that before. If he says where he's from, and he's from like somewhere where there's a military base, I might say, you know, you a veteran? I mean, it's a 50-50 shot, but if he says yes, you definitely want to use the word like DD-214. You know, oh, you got your DD-214? Oh, thanks for your service. You know, where were you stationed? You know, see any action? I mean, I like history, so it would be, you know, interesting to know somebody like that. And then when I open the garage, I'll usually see a sprinkler, and that's a great time to talk about the soil and how our houses move. I mean, I do this still. Every time I look at a bottom, I'm like, our houses move, and we got to water the foundation. He'll say, I've never heard that before. And then I don't talk about Biden or Trump, and he should like me. But the day I start getting into abortion laws and crap like that, like, I don't care what your personal opinion is, keep it at your house with the door closed. Nobody cares about that. They want to have a good time enjoying a house. Well, that's a law that just came out. All right. So now, yes. Separate emails. If you're going to do it through here. Yeah, you just hit those 3 dots. All right. So now we're going to act like Leno looks at me and goes, yeah, I think I want to make an offer on it. And it doesn't matter how new you are. What I would reply back to him is, give me about 40 minutes and I'll start blowing your email up, you know, with some forms to sign. One will be showing that I'm going to be your advocate. It's just some office forms. And then I'll send you over the offer and I'll go over with you on the phone. So I head back to anywhere really with Wi-Fi. That's the whole concept of this company. And I'm going to log into Zip Forms. I just go to this. A lot of people go to Zip Forms Plus. It's whatever gets you there. There's half a dozen ways to get to Zip Forms. When the screen loads, it's going to say your name here. You're going to hit Zip Forms. From now on, you should know the screen turns blue and we're looking for 1 tab to hit. New, and that's it. And how many boxes pop up?
Wow.
We only care about the first 3. Yeah, I mean, that's it. It's like crazy. I mean, literally, there's so many people that don't know that, and they're like 30 years in real estate. You hit new, well, he's a buyer. So I'm going to click purchase, and I'm going to name it. And I'm always going to hit residential, and I'm going to hit a drop down, and I'm going to pick what template? Buyer. And then I'm going to hit save. This is what I was talking about this morning. We're at a white summary square. We go 2 tabs over. And now, because this is a buyer template, we have 26 forms loaded in here. They're all pre-filled. So the first one's the IBS. Now, the difference is I'm going to e-sign this to him, not print it. Whereas with a seller and a landlord, you print. With a buyer, you e-sign. And it's real.
Unless they're older.
Right, unless you're older. Yeah, you'll adapt, sure. So here's what you do. And I mean, again, I got 10 minutes. I'm going to get us all to this buyer, and then we'll just kind of mix and match. But you hit e-sign. And, well, first of all, let me go back. So this is an IBS, okay? It's completely filled, all right? When I go back, I never even have to open that, but I do have to open the buyer rep to make him a client. When I open it, I only need 2 paragraphs. His, yeah, we have a few mortgages. And then I got to click today's date, and I'm going to click the end date, which I'm going to go out a month. That's probably when we're going to close. I hit save, and I'm done. That's all we had to fill out on the buyer rep. As you go down a little further, you'll see it's already been templated. There's your commission. There's a lease commission in case the buyer turns into a tenant or a tenant turns into a buyer. You don't need a separate buyer rep for, both. Intermediary is already authorized. I have either party can terminate with 1 day notice. I have that in every agreement. Buyer, seller, in your ICA, your independent contractor agreement. I have it also. And then that's going to have the last line will be your name. So now we know we're going to send the IBS and the buyer rep to Leno. Why am I saying Leno? I have no idea. All right, so here we go. I know. So here we go. That's a drop down that is going to be like a free DocuSign. Okay, Digital Ink 2.0. I would argue that you'd always want to click this unless you have a DocuSign account, and always pick Digital Ink 2.0. You have this little sentence that says select other documents to include, and you're going to mark the IBS. So now we have 2 documents we're sending, and now I'm going to hit close. I'm going to verify those are the 2 forms. I'm going to hit next. It's just very simple. Now I try to mark him. It won't let me because I don't have his email. Okay. So I'm going to put an email in, just a bogus one. Now it will let me check mark him. I'm going to go ahead and check myself because I'm going to be signing the buyer rep after he signs it. You don't have to do that. I don't really do that because I have DocuSign. And if you have DocuSign, you don't need to do that. But if you don't have DocuSign, you want to be the return signer on a buyer rep. Or you're going to have to print it, initial it, and scan it back in to load it as a file in our transactions.
Do I need to send it to myself?
Yeah, I mean, I would if you don't have DocuSign. DocuSign is $200 a year. I've just had it forever. It's just, you can sign anything. But if not, then you'll put yourself, that's the only time you'll ever put yourself as a signer.
But then
I'll show you.
would they get it to already having my signature on it?
They'll get it first. I'll show you. We'll do it like it's going to be you. Okay. So you have a buyer and you have you. Let's just say that was you. Okay. You hit close and now it's going to go to him first. And then it's going to come to you. When it comes to you, it'll just walk you through just initially. Then it'll go out and come right back to you in 3 emails. The last email will be from you to you. And there'll be a link that says click here and you can load it as a PDF.
Okay.
And save it. And I'll walk you through all that. So all you would do is hit next. You good on time? All you do is hit next. All the forms are going to load on the left. And on the right, there's like a little menu. It just takes a second. Okay. I always like to scroll down and make sure there's an initial prompt. All right. So there you can see there's not an initial prompt for you. Okay. It's for the buyer, but not you. In this drop down, you're going to have 2 people you can pick. Let's say that you're me. You click you hit drag and drop, and then you just drag your initial. And you'll have to do that for every square, at the end of every one, because sometimes it has a flaw in it, just a system. It's got nothing to do with us.
I just did a lease and it was real easy.
Oh, yeah.
To follow the steps. Like
I
the
did one
program.
too, but I didn't
Yeah.
send it to myself to sign.
Yeah. So here's sign, and then you just drag it, and then there's the date. You drag it, and it doesn't even have to be right on. I mean, that's fine with me. Then you go to the bottom, and you can see that on the bottom of the IBS, it doesn't show a buyer initial.
Yeah.
So now you got to go back up here and change your name to the buyer. And then you're going to drag the initial, and then you're going to drag the date. And then all you do at this point is hit next and send, and you just send it to them. Now you just need to follow up and make sure it didn't go to his spam or his junk. Okay. All right. So that's where that's where we're at there. So I'm going to text him and say, hey, did you get the email? He goes, yes. I go, those are just some office forms that show I'm your advocate. Sign those when you can and get them back to me. Text me when you've signed them. So he just says, oh, absolutely. I'm doing it right now. So now I'm going to go ahead and start writing up the offer. So again, this is about as simple as it can get. These are all your forms. So I'm going to open up the 1 to 4 family. I'm going to scroll up to the top. I like to do all caps. So I'm going to see the seller is Sally Seller. Already know his name. It's there. Let's say he's single. I don't have to worry about it. But if he's married or has a significant other, I'm going to put their name on 2 separate lines because that makes it 2 separate signatures on page 9. Does that make sense? If you put them all in one line, you're not going to have 2 signatures on that. Then you just go in here. You're going to be looking at the tax roll. Lot 5, block, blah, 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 county, blah, 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 city, known as 1, 2, 3, easy. All right. You go down and let's say that he's offering $500,000 and is putting 10% down. That means 50,000 is his down payment. And that means that his loan amount would be $450,000. When you hit tab, it automatically shows the $500,000. Already have templated third-party financing, so you don't have to mark it right there. You scroll to the second page, and we already have templated the $100 for 10 days, just so you'll know where that's at. Because a lot of people get confused. There's two dollar signs really close to each other. The one that's blank, that's earnest money. So the way this paragraph would read is, Chicago title, the address of Chicago title, 123 Main Street, or Mina, whatever, and then 5,000 earnest money, 100 option, and then you're done because it says 10 days there. It's already templated. Down here, paragraph 6, you put the same title company that was in paragraph 5. From there, you're going to go down and you're almost not going to touch anything. Everything is pre-filled all the way until you get to paragraph 9. Paragraph 9, you click on the blank and you pick a closing date. From paragraph 9, you go all the way to paragraph 21. Everything is pre-filled. I'll have your email in here because we want the title company to have your email. I always like to put the buyer's email here. So, whatever. Already have the 2 most common addendums marked. And from there, you go to this page here. I'm going to have this side pre-filled with your information. Where it says my wife's name, it'll be your name, your license, your email, your phone number. Everything else will be the same. All you got to do is fill in all that crap on the right, equal in length to the left. All the answers are on the agent full report. And I'll walk you through it, but I mean, it's super simple. And then you hit save and you're done with the contract. You hit the back button and we need to now go to the third-party financing. Of course, we remember the loan amount was $450. When you open up the third-party financing, I already have the conventional paragraph pre-filled. So all you have to do is fill in one blank and it's this one. And it's going to be $450. You hit save. And now to wrap this up in 4 minutes, we're going to e-sign this to Leno. Whatever form you're in, you're always going to have this right there. All you do is click it. And it already has Digital Ink 2.0. You want to remember that it's Digital Ink 2.0. You click select other documents and you're going to scroll down and you're going to go, oh yeah, I need to send that. I need to send that. I'm asking for a washer, refrigerator, and dryer. Okay, whatever. You hit next and here you're back at this screen. You're going to check mark Leno. Now, here's the thing. That's it. No one else. Because what's going to happen is when you send this, he's going to sign it. It's going to come back to you automatically because it's your account in 3 emails. And the last email is from you to you. And it'll say, click here, and here will be highlighted. When you click on here, it'll say, do you want to load this as a PDF? You will. That's what you'll send to the other agent in case they don't know technology.
Is that because you don't need to sign anything as the agent?
Right. You don't have to sign anything on this contract.
So just the IBS when you need to sign it, you have your.
The buyer rep. Because the IBS will just be, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's it. And I don't even do that because I just do it by DocuSign. But for free, do it Digital Ink 2.0. So
we
here,
don't have to select ourselves.
not on the contract because it'll automatically come back to you. And then, right, and you'll have 3 emails. The first 2 will be from AuthentiSign. The third one will be from you to you. And it'll say, click here, and here will be highlightable. When you click on it, it'll say you want to download it as a PDF. You'll name it. That's what you'll send to her as the listing agent, as a PDF, the offer. And then you'll send a second email as a PDF, which will be the pre-approval letter. And then you just text her to make sure she got it and start a back and forth.
Because she is the
Listing agent. Yeah. But you don't put her down in here to get it or nothing. Only the buyer. And it'll come back to you automatically.
Does this store everything?
Okay, so there's just the buyer. I'm going to hit next, and then you just wait, and what's going to load? All those friggin' forms on the left and with that little menu on the right. On this, everything will be initial prompt. The only thing I've ever seen an initial prompt issue with is the IBS, where you got to drag the buyer. But all these forms are going to be, yeah, has it. Yeah, it'll have it as a.
How much you pay for this?
This is free. It's in your, yeah. So I'll tell you in a second, but everything's going to load here on the left. And just for training, it's always good to go down and check, but you'll see that there's initial for the buyer. Okay. As soon as you see that, it's going to be on all of them. All you do is hit next and send. And now you just communicate with him to let him know to look for it. A lot of times it goes in their spam or junk. So, all right. So that is, that's making an offer with a buyer. And then, it's all about communication. For the next minute, let me just show you what this this printout means. Up here at the top, that's the MLS number. When you see that B, that means that it went under contract and it's now back on the market. That's what the B means. If you see a dollar sign, it means the price has been reduced. If you see an N, it means it's a new listing. I don't know how they define it, but it's probably like, 7 days. If you click on this, you get a picture of a house like on your maps on your phone. You can kind of zero in and see the backyard, how the sun hits it and stuff like that. That's going to be the tax roll. That's going to be the tax roll, TX. But the easiest tax roll is to just click that tab. It takes you right to the tax roll. As you go down, it's going to show you the price. So you can see that it was listed at $478. It's been reduced to $425. You've got square footage. You've got year built. As you go down, it's always good to look at this remarks section. Sometimes you'll see right above public driving, it say exclusions. And you want to basically just copy and paste that into paragraph 2D of the contract verbatim. And that's what the seller wants to take with them. Down at the bottom, you'll see days on market. Okay, right there. That's the broker name. Remember when I said you got to fill that right side out? Okay, well, that would be Fathom. And then way over here is the broker license number. Right there. It says BKRLIC. That'll be the supervisor. There'll be a place for the supervisor license number. That's the listing agent. There'll be a place for his phone number. There'll be a place for his email. There'll be a place for the broker address. But that's why you always print this agent full report when you write an offer up, and the tax roll, because that's all you need to write an offer. And the agent full report is this, and the tax roll is just by clicking that. Okay. All right, let me answer your question just to give you an idea. Some of you are already licensed, and then I'll answer any questions. And, I've got another hour. I'm just going to be here till 1. So I can do tenant, landlord, just for training. Y'all can go whenever you want, or I can answer any questions you have. But most of y'all have already been with me, but we have a couple people that are guests. So everybody that's licensed, what they did is either they were visiting or they've been with a broker and they move over. They send me their Trek login. I log in as them. I request me. I log them out. I log in as me and accept them. And at that point, they're active with me. I send you 4 emails. The first one is an onboarding email with the newsletter. I send a newsletter out every month. So I always send a new newsletter out with the onboarding. The onboarding, which you saw, is real easy to follow, but it basically says, click on a link and fill out your Collin County Board of Realtors application. You'll call them. You'll pay $456 for the year or prorated, but it's due every November. So get ready. They'll pay you for the next year. It's $456 for your board dues. MLS is about $114 a quarter, and I'm in 10 cities around Texas. So I've got an agent this morning that's going to be my 3rd agent in the Rio Grande Valley. In the Rio, all you have to do is pay MLS. You don't have to be a board member there. They only require you to be a board member of 1 board in Texas. So it's pretty cool if you have people down there. And she does. So, but anyways, you'll pay $456. You'll pay your MLS. Once you pay that, you text me. In the $456 is zip forms. So it's included in your membership as a realtor. And then I do your MLS and do your templates the same day. And then, you start freaking doing stuff, open houses, meeting people, send out, get your social media up and going. I got a social media lady out of Florida that'll do some, stuff. You're welcome to do your own. I don't really pull any reins in on people on what you have to do to market. The last thing I was going to show you, and then we'll be done, is this is our intra-office website. It's called Back Agent. All this I have on my cell phone, so I barely ever use a computer. But this is what it would look like when you log in for everybody in our company. This little calendar talks about all our training. This is the start menu. And this office, if you click on it, you simply go from office to documents. And I have all of our documents in our company loaded right here. So when you click on it, I have the first, I have all the graphics that you could ever want. They're all the ones that I have proprietary that I let everybody use. If you scroll down, you're going to see that I have a open house registry in case you want to do open house. It looks real professional. That's a referral form for anybody that you have around the United States or other countries. And then a little further down, I have the W-9. That's what you're going to need for any apartment or any lease if you're with a tenant. So you'll send a W-9, but it won't be yours. It'll be the brokerage. So just the way I do things, because it's pretty good turnout. My home address in Plano is the broker address, and all the checks come to me. I don't hold them. I just turn around and cut them that same day. And I don't go to bed till midnight. So even when I'm teaching, when I get home, I cut checks. I text you and say, hey, it's on my porch, or you want me to mail it? You let me know what you want. But even if it's a personal check from another broker, I don't hold it for 14 days because I have enough in the account to cover it if it came back bad. But I just don't want to hold money for people. I never liked that when I was with Remax. I always want to, if I'm going to spend 40 days to get a check, I want it when it's ready. So that's one of the benefits that I do. And I'm pretty centrally located. I'm at 121 in Ohio, at Hedgecokes in Ohio. There's a gas station. I live behind it in a subdivision. I have a mailbox that's protected in my pad, my front, what's it called? Front, by the front door. I have one on the ground, and then I have my mailbox, that the mail comes in. So usually the way I've done, who's picked a check up at my house before? Well, I know you have, Lola, Dave. But I'll just text them and say, hey, I got a check for you. You want me to mail it? You want to pick it up? And you can decide. But I don't hold it. So the day I cut your checks, the day I'm making a copy of it and put it in my mobile account. But other than that, what questions y'all have? Anything y'all want to work on? Want me to cover that you had questions about? Why don't everybody just introduce themselves real quick? Make it quick. Go ahead, you and me.
How's it going? My name's Hammer. You can also call me Hammer if you want.
Hammer time.
It's easier. I just joined, I interviewed Doug Monday, signed with DHS Tuesday.
Yep.
And just trying to learn everything. First weekend.
Very nice.
Welcome.
Yes, and he's an accountant.
And I'm a CPA accountant, so if you have any tax questions, or you want me to do your tax.
Look at that.
Let me know.
Are you serious?
What's your name again?
Hammer.
Amir, is it A-M-I-R?
A-H.
AHMER.
I need to talk to you after this.
Yeah, we can talk. Yeah, we can talk.
Awesome.
I don't know what to do with all my money. Is that your first name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
AHMER.
Okay, I'll find you.
I'm Judy Garcia, and I met Doug in school.
Yep.
I did go to another brokerage, and I came back home to Doug.
Oh, good.
And I was in dentistry for about 22 years, so this is all real new to me.
Nice. Well, we're happy you're here. Go ahead.
My name's Faith Tucker, and I was kind of curious about being involved.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, you got a good role model.
My name's Tabitha. I'm with Keller Williams at the moment, but I met Doug at Champions and he was amazing. I watch YouTube videos every single day. Almost. I keep up with them. And I just kind of wanted to see the environment and kind of see what y'all are learning about. And that's why I'm here today and stuff. And kind of,
Very nice.
My name's Cassandra. I met Doug in school too. I joined in January, February,
One of the first ones, weren't you? Close to it.
close to it. Under 100.
Oh, under 100, yeah.
Yeah, under 100. But like it, I've just really started working on it.
All right.
Lately.
Everybody has their own time.
yeah.
Cool beans.
I'm Alex. I guess I just joined today, right?
I know, it's crazy.
But I committed like with my third class when I got here. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna go. And I do construction. I do residential remodel now, and do a little bit of commercial, but mainly residential.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah. She was in class, and I think I sponsored, and who was it in front of you? Somebody was in front of you. I forget who it was. That.
Oh, I don't even know.
Yeah. But she had known me.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. So
everyone was telling me about it. Like, I'm like, I never had him as. I actually didn't have you as a teacher until my last class.
that's right. That's right. You said that. Yeah. I taught last night.
Yeah.
So.
You've been great. You've really helped.
Oh, I
me.
appreciate it. Well, yep.
Oh, well, I'm Gaurav Patel. I'm an engineer, computer.
Oh, nice.
Professional. Now turned into a real estate like about 6 years ago. So, trying to get my license maybe next week or week after, but I know I'm trying to figure out again what is.
I gotcha. You done with your classes?
Yeah.
All right. And you do prep, or will you do champion?
One prep, yeah.
Oh yeah, that should be good. Yeah. You got a good study partner there to
Yeah,
tell you what to
that's
expect.
right.
Yeah, we've been studying so much. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's great.
I'm Romana Parkridge, and I just joined about a month ago. And I was a medical assistant for 21 years.
Nice.
And did kind of think about doing it, in my 20s, I probably should have, but I'm almost 50, so now I'm doing it. And
You make 50 sound so old. You look 20. You look like 21. What, last week?
Thank you. Y'all are kidding me.
Deborah, bring you back down to reality.
Yeah, I'm way over you. Yeah, Deborah, I was in sales before, bridal sales, doing something new and different. She and I have been friends for a long time, and she was with Keller Williams and was recruiting me to Keller Williams, but I had Doug for school, so I recruited her instead.
Yeah.
So here we are.
They're hilarious.
We're like together every day.
Oh, and I love it.
We're
I mean, it's so
constantly
funny. So
doing
I went with
team
them on a little listing just to watch them, and I mean, yeah, it's hilarious because they're cutting jokes and
Thing one and thing two here.
stuff.
Dale, go ahead.
Thing one and thing two. He's old, so.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, my name is Dale Betts, I'm the student at Doug's. Super great person, we can just meet to join the group. Been a realtor for about 35 days, maybe.
All right, yep. Once those kids got into Arkansas, 'cause they-
Yeah, they go out.
Yeah.
So I'm also probably your resident federal firearm dealer.
I think you just take a class. Can you say that again? Okay.
Cause we just, I just took, yeah, I went to Eagle and did the shooting range a month ago or so. All right, go ahead, Lee.
Yeah, cool.
Before I leave, I got it on me and I want to check.
This is kind of Marcus. In school 2 years ago. Yeah, I met Doug 2 years ago, but I went with Keller Williams a different way. I was following one of my closest friends, so that's the reason I
Sure.
went with Keller Williams. And to this day, with 2 years, I have two friends with Doug, Manny.
Manny Palmares, yeah.
And I just finished a transaction with Vicky.
Griffith?
Uh-huh.
Oh, nice, out of Waco?
So, and I was like talking to her during the transaction about you, and so that made me decide.
Was she up here or were you down there? Cause she's in Waco.
Up here,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So, that's made me transfer.
That means you're a Cowboy fan.
Yeah, no.
Oh, no.
No.
And you're friends with Palmares?
Yes,
What's your team?
Eagles.
Oh, you, let me get on Trek's website.
So, yeah. Oh, no, trust me, me and him.
I'm going to the opener, the Eagles,
Yes.
on the 27th.
No, we are too.
Oh, you are? Well, then
Yeah.
I'll see you there.
Yeah, definitely. I'll text you when we're there.
Okay, yeah, I'm going with my brother-in-law, yeah. All right, Big Dave.
I'm Dave Wilson. I joined up with Doug actually at a previous brokerage. I was the very last agent that he onboarded. And then he started DHS very quickly after that. And then I was like, yeah, I'm going over there. So I immediately, like in my first couple of weeks of being out in the biz, I left my first brokerage and came to where Doug was. He was the energy and the reason I had gone to that one. So he's been phenomenal. I love what I do, and I love that he's always willing to help in whatever way I need. And couldn't be happier. I have zero regrets about being a DHS person. It's all good.
Dave's a singer. He's got his own, and we've been twice as a company, and drinks have been paid by the firm and down in Elm Street. And I tell you, when you see him take the mic, you can see that's a true love right there. Music. I mean, it's incredible. Oh, it's incredible. And just a little bit about Dave. He and Lola probably represent our companies and our personality the most. And Dave is a go-getter. And I'm just going to say this, but he had a buyer last week or a week before. It's a big buyer that he thought he had. And I've been stroked by somebody that told me that they were a millionaire once and they didn't have 2 pennies to piss on, and told me they're going to buy 3 homes that were $400,000 each. And I knew they were a stroker, and it was devastating, but I knew going in, it probably wasn't real. And when Dave called me and he was so excited, I mean, just the message he left, like, this could change my life. Like, this is $1 million sale. And just there was a gut feeling. And I was like, Dave, I'm praying for you. I hope it's for real. And it turned out the girl, she's just crazy. But
Sociopaths are real.
yeah. But the thing about him is the next second he was moving on and it didn't affect him any. And it's the kind of agents that we like here, because he's somebody that's a good mentor and always is the first one to offer his help on that group meet. So and Lola as well. So go ahead, Lola.
Oh, hi, everyone. My name is Lola Fashola. That's my real name, okay? It's not fabricated, it's not fake, it's not made up, I'm not married. I met Doug in about 2018. fast forward, life happens. I got my license September 11, 2020. I joined Remax for about 3 months. And I was working pretty hard. I was getting some traction, but I would say that I didn't like the fact that Remax was taking a lot of money. And so they hit me with some fees at the end of the year, and I wasn't prepared. My stimulus check hadn't hit yet. So anyway, I text Doug, Happy New Year. And Doug's message to me was, enjoy me now. It wasn't Happy New Year back. Join me, and now it's in capital letters. And so I just got a little emotional because I was like, maybe this is God. Because I don't want to be there, but Doug said I should. And the thing is, y'all, like, I failed my test twice. Well, I passed the state, but I failed the national twice. And Doug was like, okay, I'll help you pass. So he really had my back in the process of passing the test. And I still went to relapse. So
I remember you walking in when I was teaching and she would turn the question like, you don't remember my name, do you? And I was like, Lola, of course. I butchered the, I know, I butchered the last name, but yeah.
But he was there, so I mean, that's I come from oil and gas. I've been in oil and gas for about 12 years. I'm 40. I'm gonna not look young, thank you. But I'm 40. I decided to go into real estate because I could do pretty much whatever I want, you know, and I could just be me. Gun range. If y'all want to go to the gun range, I go every Tuesday. It's ladies' night. It's free. I'm packing right now. As a realtor, if you're a woman and you look good, there are crazies out there.
Damn.
They just want to book an appointment just so they can see you. They don't have no intentions of renting or buying. So, you know, when they see that little tuck right here. No, when they see something, you know, they kind of relax a little bit. So, you know, I want to put that out there. And yeah, that's about it. That's me. I'm
Cool.
the life of the party.
You are. Well, we appreciate you being with us. All right, so now we'll wrap it up, and I'm gonna do real quick a tenant because that's what so we have a program called Op City. I don't know if you have a Keller Williams or not, but part of our onboarding is there's 4 emails I send you. The onboarding, this back agent I just showed you, and I have an app talking of safety. It's called Forewarn. It's where you can put in somebody's phone number and it'll pull their criminal history. It costs me $10 a month for every agent, but I cover it because I just don't want to go to bed at night knowing that. It's called Forewarn. Yeah, Forewarn. And so I send you out, that's the 3rd email I send you, and I would absolutely make sure you download it because it's a lifesaver. You put in somebody's phone number. I've got multiple agents that have texted me, like, it'll show the criminal convictions that are public, and it'll be like felony assaults and not like 20 years ago, but 20 days ago. But the 4th one is called Op City. It's realtor.com for all intensive purposes. And it's a lead program that's free on the front end, but you pay a 35% on the back end of them because I don't have any splits. And Lola's done, how many have you done? 3 or 4?
Close 4. I got 3 pending.
Yeah. And so once you get to 3, you get into a new bracket of leads. So again, I mean, it's a referral on the back end, but you get it free on the front end. And it's with realtor.com, and I copy on all the paperwork I send into them. So, it's not like I'm, filtering 35 into a company or anything. And so I send that because that's your 4th email and it gets you going pretty quick. Did you sign up for it? Yeah. Matter of fact, some people sign up before they get MLS and then they're texting me to have me look up properties, which I do. No, that's fine. Right, yeah. Turn it off, yeah.
You just send it to all the agents.
Everybody gets it as part of the onboarding.
And it's up to them if they want to sign up.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How many bad leads did you have to work through?
I'm gonna let Doug go through his training, but all these right here are just people that I just accept. And if I feel like they're not really talking about nothing, they stay in pending clients.
Yeah, and you can always release people back, at
Some
any
of them I
point.
have, but.
Yeah.
Some I'll send in an IABS and a buyer's rep, even if I think they're not serious, but if they sign that, I can take them out.
The bottom line is it doesn't cost you a dime to get in with the people you meet on Op City. It only costs you a dime if you make a lot more than a dime.
Right, right.
And what I do on my end, like we had so here's how it works. If it's under 150,000, the referral is 30% to realtor.com. If it's above 150 or lease, it's 35. So I had an agent, last month that had a $20,000 lot that closed and her commission was 3%, $600. Well, it was a sale. So that means it was 30%. Well, 30% of 60 was $180. So out of the 600, 180. And then my 225 made it where she made like $190. So I waived the 225 and her commission went to 350 or something like that. So I'll do that. And, oh, be quiet, Lola. I'll
It is help for your first.
yeah,
So.
absolutely.
It's a great baseline, it's a great baseline for any other business that you're trying to do, because you don't have to go out and find that, it just comes to you.
Yeah.
Take it.
So that's, yeah, hold on a second. So that's one lead program. The other lead program we have is with Zillow. And it's when I recruited for my dad before I left his company. I had a relationship with a lady that she let us go month to month, where you normally have to do a 6-month contract with Zillow and sign it. So I would give you her number if you were interested, and you don't pay anything on the back end on that, but you buy those leads on your own. So it's kind of like we have two options. We have some people do both. We have some that do just this, and we have some that don't want to do Opcity at all and just do Zillow.
How much is Zillow?
Well, it's on to you. So basically what you would do is you would call her, I give you your number, and you would say, where do you live? I forget what city.
Irving?
Yeah, so you would say, I live at 123, Irving, and you're willing to ride 2 hours from your house, as I tell people to say. She'll do a radius search 2 miles from your house, and you'll just say, hey, I want to try 200 a month or 300 a month. And she'll tell you how many leads you can get in that 2-hour radius. All you want to do is pick the most leads, because people that call right here end up buying way over here anyway, not even in your radius, so it doesn't matter. And we're in every city, and I have Opcity in every city almost in Texas. So we're in the Valley, we're in Austin, Houston, Waco, San Antonio, Tyler, El Paso, about to be in Bryant Station, college, Texas A&M. So yeah, so the 2 lead programs. And then obviously the open houses, I'll be doing open house training Monday, Tuesday. That's going to be free leads. Your investment is your time. So yeah,
I can schedule that with you for the open houses.
you just show up. I have it on GroupMe. I'll put it again because you're on GroupMe now. Did you see it? Yeah. Everybody's on GroupMe here, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you on GroupMe, Ron?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. All right, so real quick, I'm just going to do this because leases are a little different and we are getting a lot of leases. So number one, if you get a call from Opcity or Zillow, the way it works is your phone rings, you pick it up, or a text, you click it. You have to claim it real quick, and the text will say, oh, you got the lead, and then your phone will ring. And they'll say, this is Fred with Opcity. We have David on the other line. He wants to look at 123 Easy Street. We're going to let you off the phone. There's like a dead silence, and you got to go, hey, Dave, and he's like, oh, hey, what property were you calling about? 123 Easy Street. Yeah, when you want to look at it. I always say that. It's just like a go-to. When do you want to look at it? I haven't even looked in the MLS because, by God, if it's sold, he's going to buy some home, and I need to do a search of other properties to send to him. So when you do a search for leases, this is the drop down you're always going to get familiar with. That's for houses, that's for lots and acreage, commercial, and then lease. And you would just go to quick or detailed, whichever one you want. When you go to quick, when the screen opens, you're going to go over here, and I always go 0. So let's say it was Deborah, she wanted home 0 to 2,000. That's it. And she goes, yeah, like Frisco, McKinney, Plano, Allen. What's the other one? Plano. Okay. You can see there's only 39 homes. Oh, well, that's homes. So now there's only 28 homes. She goes, yeah, I want a 3-bedroom. Well, I mean, imagine all of them are going to be 3-bedroom plus. So there's 28. There's two missing. Master down. Okay. If you click that, 22. See what I'm saying? You can kind of play with that results tab. As soon as you see the results you want, all you do is hit results. And once you hit results, always hit save. This is whether it's for a search of homes or leases. You always hit save, and you always hit new auto email. And the next screen, you're going to have them in a drop down, or you're going to add them. So if I already had them, they would be in a drop down. If I didn't have them, I would click here, and I would type in, oh, Dave Wilson, his email, and then you hit save. And what I do is I just put homes here in the subject line because I'm about to text him anyways when I send this. All you do is scroll to the bottom and hit save. You just email it. It's that easy. Okay. Now I'm going to text him and go, hey, I just sent you a listing of all the properties. He says he wants to look at 3124 Lucas. So probably he's going to tell me that later. So I'm going to log back in the MLS. And again, the easiest way to find it is go right here. Just put a L. Now, if I want to do LUC, it's going to even be better. It's going to be the only one that pops up most likely. So there it is. I click on the MLS. That's always the agent full report. And then you got to figure out, these are a little different cats sometimes, these agents that represent tenants. They're not our landlord. They're not always the best. And so,
Being real nice.
yeah. So, so like you can see here that here's the commission, 35%. Well, the home's listed at $14.95. So that's going to be what, $400? Okay. You'll want to text that agent down here. See, it doesn't say CSS. It says call agent. So I would text them. I don't like calling. I would text her and just say, hey, Lori, this is Doug with DHS Realty. I'd like to show blah, blah, blah. Lucas, is it available? She goes, yes. I go, if my client likes it, what application do you want? And generally she'll say the TAR application. Then I'm going to make the appointment with her. I'm going to go show it. Now you're the tenant and you tell me that you like it. What's the next step? I'm going to text her one more time to make sure it's still available. And then let me just show you real quick and then we'll call training and I'll just stay here for 30 minutes and answer. But I'm going to go back into realtor.com. I'm going to go back into zip forms. Once I get into zip forms, I'm going to click what? Just the new tab. And when the new tab comes up, there's only going to be 3 boxes that I care about. Now you can always go in here and do like practice stuff. That's what I do right there. You're going to hit the 3rd one. That's generically for a seller. A landlord or a tenant. I'm going to name it. Okay. The buyer's or the tenant's name. I'm going to select residential and then here's the drop down and I'm going to pick tenant. Then I scroll to the bottom and I hit save. The next screen, I'm looking for a white summary square. I'm going to go 2 tabs over to documents. Once I go to documents, it's going to be very similar to a buyer template because there's going to be an IBS and a buyer rep. But what I'm looking for is that lease app because I got to get you to fill it out. And you'll just kind of look and you'll say, oh, there it is. And you open it. That is not something that you can DocuSign or e-sign. So I got to send it to you as a PDF and have you print it. So you're not going to hit that. And whenever you send me something to review, also don't hit that. All you'll do is hit send. And when you hit send, it gives you an option to hit email. And always 2 boxes come up and you want to red X out of the first one. When you red X out of the first one, the screen behind it, you just type in my email. And then here, just put review. Okay. But if it was a tenant, if I was a tenant, you would put right here, print, fill out, and scan back as a PDF. Then you hit send and it's going to ask you what you're going to send it through. And you have to pick a signing service. So you either pick that or you pick, Gmail. And then it's going to say just a second, it's been sent. There'll be a little thing that comes up here. And then you would tell them to fill it out and send it back to you. Okay. Now, when I work with a tenant and they have the chance of missing out on a few homes, I want them to leave that top portion blank so that this becomes like a master. Okay. And that way you're not having to fill out a new one every time. And of course the tenant that you'll work with is going to have like 4 cats and, 8 people and be under 1,400 rent and a 300 credit score. And, it's going to be a pain in the ass because that's what tenants are. But again, sometimes you work with them, you get them in with a good lender that builds a credit and, they become a buyer that you spent very little time on the front end. Because in this lease that you end up doing, once that lease is done, you're done. Your follow-up is just with them as a client to keep in touch with them for the future when they become a buyer. But, the property management will be between them and the seller, the landlord. And then of course, that's really it when it comes to a tenant. You're going to do the IBS, the buyer rep, and get them to fill that out, that lease.
You know how we have the bonds there where you can fill things out?
Yeah.
How come it doesn't transfer where they?
That's why I don't do it ever.
Yeah.
So you mean, right. You mean right
Like,
here.
some people, they don't have a printer and stuff like that, so they have.
Oh, you mean on the lease?
Yeah.
app.
Like,
Oh yeah. It's just
and
not,
they're
yeah,
always-
it's, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not, yeah.
So what I do is, click on, go to document there. Go to the app.
Oh, the app.
I mean, not the.
You mean the lease app?
TAR, yeah.
Let's say that you ever click backwards too much and you get out of your documents. Don't fret, they're gonna be right here. So those are your files, and all you do is click on it. That was the lease. You'll always be in the white summary tab, and then you just go 2 tabs over. And you wanted me to open up the app?
Yeah, so what I've done is hit, fast fill. Right, to the right, over there.
That's how I do all your templates on Fastfill.
I really, okay, so what I've done is, I've copied that, pasted it in Word, and send it to them. And I let them know they have 2 options. They can either print, fill it out, and email it back to me, or they can fill that out and send it to me, and I'll type it in and send it back to them to DocuSign. Most of the time, they go with the second option. because
Make you
when
do all the work?
When they see print, fill out, scan, send back, they don't want to do all that.
Right.
So they'll just fill that out and send it back.
Okay.
So that's what
Okay.
I do. And that's
You
another
put it-
way.
You do it, you get to that screen, you put it, you save it, put it.
So
in
I've
Word.
copied and pasted. Email me and I'll send you,
Okay.
I'll send you a Word document.
Give me your email.
Lola@lolafashola.com. And that's another way to know if they're serious. If you get on OpCity, if you send them, if they're interested in applying, because leases go so fast. If they're interested in applying for a lease house and they don't fill this out for you in like a day or 24 hours, they're not ready. Cause like Doug said, they either need a TAR app or it says they can go fill out the application online. Well, if it tells them that, you can go ahead and tell them to do that and then hurry up and send an agent an email. Hi, I have a client saying just in case they forget to put your name on the
Yeah, that's what I
application.
do.
Smarter, not harder, right there.